What is up, internet? Welcome back to Milehighkei, America's only car channel still using a GoPro Hero 3. Today I'm about to leave in the van and go help out my friend Zach, which is funny because my name is Zach. I have a tiny Japanese van. Zach also has a tiny, well, not so tiny Japanese van. He has a Mitsubishi Delica. If you don't know what that is, this is what it looks like. Oh, wow! His is a turbo diesel, and his turbo went out, so I'm gonna go over there and help him replace it with a new one that he got from eBay. Not much has been going on at my house, but I did just wash the van and spruced up some of the plastic bits. Got the interior nice and shiny, and I actually used some of this. I've had this laying around for a while, and it really did help front and rear bumper as well as the side mirrors and the handles. Anyways, enough talking. So I'm gonna head over to Zach's house right now, see if we can get this new turbo in there and make it so he can drive it more, because right now it's just not running too right. He's not building any boost, so everyone wants boost, so we're gonna give it to him. Gonna head over there and we'll see you in a sec. Live by the herb, die by the herb. Earlier I mentioned that I'm still filming on a GoPro Hero 3. That is true. If you think that sucks because the video quality sucks, be sure to subscribe so maybe I can get a new one. We're here at Zach's place. This is his, I believe, 88 Mitsubishi Delica. It is 4-wheel drive, turbo diesel. His is automatic, but that is cool because he's a dad. This is just his little adventure vehicle. You can see, oh, he's got it locked. So this is where the engine is. So unlike the van where the engine's in the back, the engine is in the front on the Delicas, and you kind of just sit on top of it. So I'm gonna wait for Zach to get outside, and then we'll start pulling this apart a little bit more to get the turbo in. It looks like he's done a little bit of work already, so we're gonna send it. Yeah, that's a lot of oil, Zach.
Yeah.
All right. Alright, so there's the little turbo. I'm gonna undo the hose that connects to like the air intake, and then Zach's gonna go underneath and undo the exhaust, and then we're just gonna slowly start to take everything off. It's very clear that this turbo has never been removed, so we're gonna struggle with it for a bit, try to get all the couplers and bolts loose, but it's gonna take a bit, so we'll see in a little bit. Maybe the oil will lube it up. Alright, here's a quick update. We got this air intake coupler off. It's off on both sides. The wastegate lever is off. We're about to undo the banjo bolt for the oil feed. We're soaking the bolts for like the dump pipe, so we can break those off, and then hopefully we'll be able to scoop the turbo out. I already got the bolts holding the top end of it on and the EGR valve. But yeah, just grunting it out. Nothing too exciting. Hey everybody, welcome to my first voiceover in one of these videos. So here I'm struggling to take off the silicone coupler that goes from the turbo to the intake manifold, and that was blocking off the oil feed banjo bolt for the turbo, and it was also blocking off a couple of the, I believe, 8 bolts that hold the entire turbo manifold to the block. So we decided to take all those off, as well as the heat shielding right there, and just drop it all out the bottom. And make sure you remember the order that you do this in, because it will save a lot of struggle and just make it a lot easier on yourself when reassembling, because there's a piece of heat shielding in there that needs to be removed as well. So just keep track of what you're doing and everything should come out fine. So we didn't really film it because it's just such a struggle, but we got the turbo out and the whole exhaust manifold. We undid it and then we brought it out the bottom. There was a little heat shield that was getting in the way, but it just barely wiggled past. Alright, another voiceover. So here's the whole assembly for the turbo, including the dump pipe as well as the exhaust manifold and a piece of heat shielding. And what I'm pointing out right here are the 2 bolts that hold on the EGR recirculation tube. And those broke off because they were so rusted on there and when we were trying to get it off. So now we had to figure out how to get those off before we reinstall everything back into the car. We had to soak a lot of the bolts in PB Blaster and we got very dirty, but it was fun. Old and busted, new hotness. Old and busted, new hotness. and the turbo manifold out so we can start to take everything that we need to reuse off of the turbo, like the oil dump pipe and some of the bolts and stuff. It was a real pain to get the whole assembly out as otherwise the bolts that connect the hot side of the turbo to the exhaust manifold would be really hard to get to otherwise. So we're calling it for the day, and he's going to let some of the bolts soak in PB Blaster to get them out because we broke some while removing them. I think that the oil feed line was causing the really bad oil leak, and that's why everything is covered in oil and dirt and stuff, including my face. I'm gonna tighten that up, make sure everything has like new crush washers and stuff for the banjo bolt, and hopefully it won't leak anymore. I'm gonna spray some brake cleaner on that side of the block to clean it up a little bit because that leak has been happening for a while. So I'm gonna stop right here for now, and we'll pick it up in a day or two. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a little bit. Another day. Another yerb. Thank you for sticking around for the tail end of this video. So right now I just got another yerba mate.
Delicious.
And I am headed back over to Zach's house so we can finish swapping out his turbo on his 1989 Mitsubishi Delica. So I'm gonna head over there and see if we can't throw this thing back in there. So thanks for watching, and let's get to it. Alright, so here Zach is explaining to me what he had to do to get the bolts that we broke off for the EGR recirculation tube off. He actually had to weld some extra bolts that he had laying around to the broken off studs and use the vice grip to get the bolts loose and so we could replace them. And now I'm putting the new turbo onto the exhaust manifold, and Zach got some new bolts and a nut to put on there because we reused one of the studs, and just getting everything tight. We reused the oil drain tube from the old turbo on the new one, so we installed that with a new gasket and everything, and we also put a gasket between the exhaust manifold and the turbo to make it all sealed up nice. And after we got all that tightened down, then we got new bolts for the dump pipe. The ones on the old manifold were just really rusted, and we wanted to use some new ones. So we actually had to reuse one of the long studs from the dump pipe, and Zach and I are clamping that down using a old nut and just cleaning everything off and making sure everything is ready for reassembly into the car. Alright, we're back here at Zach's house, and we just got the turbo installed back onto the manifold, and we're going to get the manifold put back into the car as one piece and then start putting the other things back together while it's in the car, like the EGR valve and recirc tube were kind of hard to work around to get it out, so we're going to put them on when we put it back in. And now we're just doing some very needed cleaning. I need to clean off the wastegate, and been spraying this down with some brake clean because there's a big oil leak somewhere, so just trying to freshen it up, make it look nice, and then we'll slap the turbo back on. But that's pretty boring cleaning, so we'll see you in a sec when we're starting to put the turbo in. Okay, here we come. Got to get a little more towards the front of the car. So, yep. Boom.
Good Django.
I definitely cut my thumb on the new gasket for the turbo. It just like sliced my thumb up.
You need Band-Aids?
We'll just get some duct tape and super glue and call it good. So at about this point, we should have been reassembling the heat shield that we took off to get the turbo out back on. We waited until we got the entire manifold and turbo all bolted in before we put that heat shield back in, and we just could not get it in there. So it's really important to remember the order that you took stuff in and out. So as we were putting the manifold on, we should have been bolting up the heat shield, and it would have made it so much easier on us and would have taken us a fraction of the amount of time.
6.5 hours later.
Alright, Internet, we are on our way back over to Zach's house for round 3 of working on the Delica. We were trying to get as much work done as we could before it got too hot out, and it was almost 100 degrees today in Denver. I think the high was 97. So we didn't want to roast in his front yard or driveway. So Zach was thinking that we could just bend the heat shield and then re-bend it into place after we put it in, which I think is a good idea. So we're probably going to do that. So going to be there in about 10 minutes, and hopefully we can get the van done. As you can tell, it is really dark outside, and we've been struggling for a bit on getting everything put back together, but now we got the couplers ready to get connected, so I need to do the air inlet as well as the this is just the other air inlet that goes to like the air box down here, so I need to attach that. There's another heat shield that goes right there, and then we'll be able to put it all back together and hopefully start this thing up. Very scary. Fire in the hole. oil's coming out of the drain. Shit.
12 seconds later.